He said, all right, well, welcome everybody to this episode. We are on, right? Like we're good, we're good. All right,
on, yep,
all right.
yep.
Welcome to this episode of Today with Jared James. I am joined here today. You say Fitzgerald, right?
I do say Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Yeah.
Max Fitzgerald. You've been on the podcast before, but it was a crap show. The mic wasn't working. Tom's fault.
Yep, 100%.
I'll just put that on Tom.
100%.
Okay. I mean, you trust somebody.
I like Tom.
You know, yeah.
Thank you.
I like.
You know,
who
Tom-
doesn't like Tom?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a thing I do on here.
Okay.
I crap on Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Two things can be true. We could like Tom and he could still be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Two things can be true. Your mic's on, right? All right.
Yes, it
Sometimes
is.
I notice he's talking. It's like an echo. And it like yeah. Anyway, I'm here with Max. This is gonna be a fun episode here today, guys. Max is a lot of things. You're the broker at Kraft and Bauer. Did I say it correct?
You did, yes.
You're the founder of Stack Wrap. Last time we had you on here, like I said, there was all sorts of mic issues and everything, and it was an absolute crap show. We have no notes. I think we're going to have some fun here. You know, we kind of know each other a little bit more now.
We do, yeah.
Okay, we've had late night hangouts.
We have had late night hangouts, yeah. It's
You've
always
slept
fun.
on my couch.
I have, yeah. Woken up very hungover.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know what that was. We'll have to cut that, okay? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know the meaning of the word.
Yeah, really. That just means you're old.
It does, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting up there where alcohol does not feel as fun as it once did.
Well, we had this convo earlier. We're going to get into real stuff today, guys. But we had this convo earlier. Well, neither one of us drink a lot, first off. Let's just be clear. Like, when we say hungover, it sounds like, oh, he's just going at it again. No, it's because we don't drink all the time.
It was like 4 beers.
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
that hurt. That really hurt.
Yeah, I think it was 4+, but it was a late night.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I think we were hanging out where even you brought up the average age at one point. We're sitting at the bar and we're like, okay, well, this place is changing. Like,
That's right.
It's like an SAT test. What doesn't belong here? Anyway, I'm thrilled to be here with you, man. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. We're gonna talk about a lot of different things, and we're gonna talk about things like the fact that you do a couple things. So you run a tech company. We'll get into that. You also run a brokerage, which recently went from indie brokerage to now being with one of the now considered one of the larger brands in the country, and so we'll get into that a little bit. But I thought this would be fun to have you on here because we have gotten to know each other a little bit personally. There's a lot going on in the industry. On today's podcast, I think my wife comes in tomorrow. We'll probably do a podcast on Friday as well, where we'll talk about all the stuff that's been going on lately. Is Homes.com going to last? There's a new lawsuit with rocket companies.
Yeah.
Do you follow any of this stuff?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He's going to give 2-word answers.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Don't
Here
ask
we
me.
go.
Don't ask me the specifics. But
He's
yes.
going to be a yes and no the whole time.
I hear that.
God,
100%.
I'm going to interview Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
It's going to be Letterman all over again. Did you ever see that interview?
I have. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
God.
Yeah. very awkward.
So yeah, I think we'll do a lot of that stuff then. But I want to get into a little bit of, because you've got this brokerage and then now you have a tech company too, which you probably never thought was possible. So I want to get a little bit into the backside of this. Because a lot of people who are in real estate, they start somewhere and you don't know where and how's it happen. And so I want to get into a little bit of that.
Yeah, we definitely will. But I think before we start, now that we've really gotten to know each other a little bit here,
Okay.
I actually want to flip the script because you've had such an interesting career path, and I think this gives us and your audience a good opportunity to really get inside of your brain. Right, so I'm going to ask you a few questions before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of this.
All right, we'll do a few,
episode.
but then we're going to get back to, okay. What would you like to know?
that okay?
What would you like to know, Max,
Well,
that you don't already know?
I think for a serious moment, I mean,
Okay.
I was at your advance
Yep.
in Orlando a couple months ago. It was great. I mean, it was very impressive. I've never seen your audience and everyone that follows your advice over the years be in one room, and it was a very large room, and you were great. And I think, generally speaking, how do you prepare? You're flying all over the country, all over the world to speak. How are you preparing mentally, physically, emotionally for either a speaking event or just anything that you're going to be
Going right
at?
to it.
Yeah, I'm going to go right to it.
Going right
let's
to.
get into the soul of Jared James.
Okay. First off, and we'll do this for a minute, and I want to get to you here.
Okay.
But first off, it was cool having you at the advance, and it's always cool too because you said a couple of times you're like, I didn't know the audience was this big. I didn't know whatever, and I got to tell you, for me, that's like one of the best compliments you can get. because it's like you hang with someone, you do, whatever. And like for me, it's always cool that that's not what's led with. It's like just hanging, having fun, being cool, meeting my kids, doing whatever. Like, for me, that's always the forefront. Like that is, everything else is like, I joke around with my wife, like when I go to events and I say, okay, time to put the cape on. And I mean, like, what I mean is it's like what's her name? Beyonce. She says when she goes on stage, it's like Queen Bee. She has to turn into a different person. I'm the exact same person, but different mentality. Like it's just a different, like, whatever. To answer your question as far as getting ready, I mean, I think you've kind of, I'll answer that a couple ways. You're right, by the way. It's not a question I think that's ever been asked, I don't think, as far as preparation when it comes to events or content or anything like that. The road is grinding. Like, I'll tell you that right now, right? The last part of last year, I was 10 countries, 30 days. Like, I mean, it's grinding, right? But then, you this morning, you came in last night and we went and hit the gym this morning. And like, there is a conscious effort to take care of my body. Like it is, I mean, you saw we're at the gym this morning, like just, we're hitting it hard. Like we're
flexing your guns.
No, it's not even about that. I'm 44 years old now. Like it's, your whole goal now is just to, not look bad, Yeah. But my point is that it's a lot of push. Like it's a lot of like, and it's consistent, right? Consistent. Like we always say, consistency is undefeated. It doesn't stop. So like when you come in and we go hit that workout today, right? And tomorrow we're going to go hit a different one, a cardio one. But then the next day when you're not here, I'll be doing the exact same thing we did today. And the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. Like it doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. And that's literally just to prepare for, it's like you have got to be in good physical condition in order to make it on the road because the road is tough, okay? To the other side of that question, it's such an interesting question. It's like when you talk about content or you talk about delivering whatever to audiences or even just you coming into that world of the advanced and then all of a sudden, oh, there's my buddy. Oh, he's on stage. Oh, he's doing that. Like, my brain works a lot different. It really does. And I honestly feel like I do a good job of staying normal from the perspective of not being like a weirdo, like look, every successful person, they're a little bit on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. That's the God's honest truth. You start looking at it's like, it's a little bit, go look at the people in our world that are, I mean, look at freaking Elon Musk. Way more than, I mean, he's, but like when you start to look at these people, and now that we've come to a place in this world where we start to understand a little bit more about people and we understand spectrum, whatever, I feel like very successful people, a lot of them that I know, they're somewhere on there. They're not just down the middle vanilla. They're a little bit on there.
Sure.
And then you learn how to manage that, And so my brain is very different. It's very, like I joked around earlier and I said 28 squared at 784, right? It just pops in, like I just, whatever. And so when your brain works like that, that means you also see things a little bit differently, whatever. And so there could be a tendency to operate that way with people and be a little bit of a Rain Man. Definitely, yes, definitely. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And one of the things that I try to do is while the brain works like that, also like be normal socially.
I think observing you from a distance, knowing you personally, I think you do such a good job of contextualizing complicated issues, especially in real estate, but just you can sort of distill things down to common denominators. And I think that what makes you a really good coach or really good speaker is if you're in the audience, I just feel you have such a better understanding on these complex issues because you can personally distill things down. And I don't know if that's a function of just the way your brain works, but I've just definitely observed that, and I wanted to pay you that compliment because I think it's also a function of how you've grown your business and how successful you've been over the years.
First off, thank you. I will tell you, it's funny you say that because no, that is a conscious effort. I learned early on. I don't know if I've ever shared this before, but I learned early on the big mistake that people who do what I do for a living, what they were making career-wise. I remember, I look at it like an artist. You got your one-hit wonders, You got your people who hit it big, and then next thing you know, they're on the VH1, story of, what used to be or whatever it was called.
VH1 story, sure. Yeah,
What are the VH1s? What were they called?
Behind the Music?
Something like that. But it was like basically they make it big and then they fall off.
Right.
Now they would let you hire them to babysit their kids, just to make the hourly wage, And so I remember listening actually, Tom, you'll appreciate this. I remember listening to an interview with John Mayer and him crafting his career and him literally talking. It was actually brilliant. He was talking about all of the artists when he was a kid, and he was talking about their career, and he was talking about the mega big albums, and then you never hear again. And then this side, and then he was like, but then this group put out an album, and it was number 4, number 8. 3 years later, number 6. Yeah. 2 years later, number 3. 2 years later, number 11. 4 years later, and it was like, it's like if you could find this spot where you just kind of, like that kind of a thing, and then you have a career.
Yeah.
And then you're still filling arenas when you're in your 40s and 50s and whatever. And it was the idea of like overexposure, but then also, and I remember hearing that, and it was early on, like in my career, and I remember like looking at that and going like, okay, how does that apply? And I can tell you, it's funny because I do think like this. Like I think one of the major mistakes that people make doing what I do for a living is that they start off and they catch a little fire. They catch a little popularity. And they have a certain message that works really well. And if you're careful, the very people who want to hear that message the most are the ones who will ruin you. And what I mean is this. They will start hiring you for everywhere to go and talk about that message. And then they want you to coach them. But they want you to coach them. They want you to, you. It's like, teach me how to build and run a business, but don't do it right yourself. You just stick to yourself and do, whatever. And then what happens is that they have a good 2 to 3 year career where all they do is talk about that message and coach people individually on that message, and they never leave time to let the seed grow. They never leave time to actually stop. And the very thing that was their gift to begin with, which was their mind, their ability to see things and turn them into things and make them simple. Great teachers are great simplifiers. So the very thing that would do that, they never left time for it to work, for it to actually happen. And I saw that early on, and I saw that with some people, I'm not going to name their names, but other speakers and other whatever, and then I saw like 2 or 3 people who were like still around, and I'm like, okay, let's learn from this. And early on, I made a practical effort to build my company in a way that I allowed myself the time to sit back and think, to allow what was my skill, which again, I say this all the time, there are many things I'm an idiot in. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I am this great. I'm saying in that area, I know that that's a gift I have, and then I know there's other ones I'm terrible, right? I said to you earlier today, we were talking, and I said, it's like Einstein said once, like, if you tell a fish to climb a tree, it'll go its whole life thinking it's an idiot.
Right.
Because you put it in the wrong place.
Right.
And so it's on every one of us to, establish, what is the thing that we're good at, what is our gift, what is our, whether it's within an industry, outside of an industry, whatever it is, and then to figure out where that gift plays best, and then once you put yourself in that position to play best, now you are recognized for what you are, right? And so, so I always thought about that, and the whole fish thing and the whole like whatever. I always thought about putting myself in the right place and also making sure that I gave myself enough time to work the thing that was my thing that was worth working, which was my mind and how I saw things. I see the world like a stand-up comedian. Like I see things differently, and I see things, it's very weird. I see things in numbers, I see things in whatever, and it's like, okay, how do I understand things that are complex very quickly, right? It's just how my mind works. But I also understand that if I try to explain it to somebody like that, they're going to be like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So I learned early on, when you watch people's reaction to what you're saying and what you're explaining, that's not working. How I'm seeing it and I'm describing is not working. So how do I take that and how do I break that down in a way that it makes sense to you now? You know what I'm saying? And not dumb it down, but do it in the way that your brain thinks.
Totally.
And if you really think about it, like that's been the success of like my reels and my social and everything else, is that I look at complex issues, I look at what's happening, I look at what's happening in our industry, I look at training stuff I'm talking about, I look at whatever, and I go, doot, 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 doot. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's where you need to focus, right? There's visibility trumps ability. Like, we all get that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, not that this is podcasting me about, because we're going to talk about you. But that's the answer to the question, is that I learned early on that unless I wanted to be eaten up and spitting out in 2 to 3 years and get told by he just says the same things over and over.
Right.
I have to actually go back and create enough time where I can just sit and think, or I can ponder things, or I can look at things, or I can, what does that mean? What is that? It's like a comedian that has to write.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like speakers don't write enough.
Right.
They just regurgitate, and that's why they start stealing other people's stuff and doing, is because they can't come up with anything on their own.
Yeah.
And yet I know that with my brain, with my mind, if I stop and look at something, if I stop and think about something, it will do what it does. You know what I mean? It's like, got it. Like, it's just kind of like, here we go, got it.
It's an interesting observation, and I just wanted to give you those flowers.
Well, I appreciate that.
Before we really get into
this is
things,
really why I brought you on.
Yeah, just to pay you a bunch of compliments. But no, it's an interesting conversation of, is it nature, is it nurture, is it something you're,
both.
It's both.
Both.
And I believe it's both too. But I think that the key takeaway for the audience especially is it's realizing what your natural strengths are, and it's realizing what you're terrible at.
Yes.
And for my businesses, I feel like I have a good...
You're really good at this.
A good sense of what I'm strong at, and a really good sense of what I'm terrible at.
Yeah, you're almost too humble sometimes about things. Like, you almost got to get a little more teeth in you.
A little bit, sometimes. But also, I've just surrounded myself with people who've accentuated my weaknesses and my vulnerabilities in my business, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, because they feel like they can do it all their own, or they have trust issues where they don't want to let go of specific things. So it's just such an interesting conversation. Yeah, man.
It's like how many team leaders have I trained that in my head I was thinking to myself, you should be the head marketer. No, you're not a team leader. Yeah. I said, I just was talking to somebody who works for me, and I literally just said to them, I said, and they've worked with me for years and years, and I said, look, I'm a great leader, I'm a terrible manager. It's not what I like to do. Sure. I'm not the manager. I am not the, it's not me. I'm a great leader, I'm a terrible manager, and I know that about myself. Right. I could be, if I wanted to stop and become that and focus on that. I don't have any interest in that. Sure. That's something that I will delegate. I'm just not interested in that. And there are a lot of, we'll get into this a little bit with your story and stuff, but I just feel like there are a lot of team leaders. There are a lot of A's who would be much more effective as C's and B's, and understanding that. And just because you're ready to grow and you're ready to build a team doesn't mean that you were built to be the team leader. Right.
It's a whole other set of
your thing is prospecting. You need to don't get rid of your genius. Yeah. Don't replace your genius. That's your genius. Replace everything else, but keep your genius. And by the way, man, if you look at what we've done, I've never really broken it down on this podcast, and we won't do it fully today. But I've completely changed our company. Tom will tell you, the last year, he's nodding his head over there, completely changed our company. Yeah. And the one thing that I have not changed, and where I'm now leaning into and doing, is my genius. Right. Let's focus on that. Yeah. And then everything else you can delegate and have whatever, but there is something to be said for finding your genius, recognizing your genius, and then playing to your genius, and then subbing out everything else. Totally. But the mistake people make is, if their genius is not the head thing, then they go after the head thing. Right. And that's about ego. Right. Or just about not being trained properly, or not knowing the right way to go. I don't want to just say it's ego. But if anybody's listening right now, I will tell you, one of the smart things you can do is, don't just think that because you start something, you're the head. It may not go as far. Man, that is such a good point. Yeah. Sometimes you got the right idea, you're the right person, you got good vision, you got, whatever it happens to be. But you need to go meet with clients. Right. That's what you need to do. Right. Or you need to be the head marketer. Or even distilling it down to the individual real estate agent, right? For me, when I was an agent, I was great in person. Yeah. I've never door knocked in my life. I was terrible at cold calling. So, so I really... you are this great communicator, great relationships, but yeah. Yeah, but it's you hear all of these different perspectives from coaches or team leaders about how do you build your business and what do you do to be successful. Yeah. And when I was, this was 10 plus years ago, but door knocking was such a huge part of how a lot of people were successful. And I'm like, man, I am so
terrified to door knock. This is just not in my DNA. I don't want to go up to a random person at their house and try to, drum up some business.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, I have a good sphere of influence. I'm very comfortable in a one-on-one setting or going to a coffee shop or going out to dinner or something. And that's how I just really leaned into that and built my business. And, so I think to sort of sum up what we're talking about, you really need to know yourself as a person. You need to know your strengths. And you know what? If this one thing is working for you, lean hard into it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's funny, man. Like we're in the middle of we now are leaning heavily with our company now. We're just building our academy. It's called Jared James Academy. I know, tough name to come up with. But I just called it the Academy, right? And we're right now in the middle of a series on getting listings. And I think I'm doing, 6 weeks on getting listings. And I'm not talking about 6 different ways to get listings. I'm talking about 6 weeks, 6 sessions on how to get listings. All right, guys, we take this break in action right here from this episode to tell you about a company that I think every one of you individually, team, brokerage-wide, whatever, needs to be using, which is StackWrap. StackWrap.com. Guys, if you're watching this right now, you know that you have a whole lot of bookmarks, on your computer. And we have all sorts of tech tools and all of these kinds of things, which is awesome. But if you're not using them, if you're not implementing, if it's just confusing you, what is the point? And so StackWrap is that place where you consolidate everything into one place, single sign-on. You see everything in one place, whether it's your CRM, whether it's your Jared James Academy, whether it's your email, whether it's your calendar, whether it's your Monday.com, whether it's whatever it happens to be, all in one place. And now they have an individual option as well. So if you're an individual, get on over to stackwrap.com. But if you are a brokerage or you are a team, no matter what size you are, this company is absolutely blowing up right now. And their pricing right now is not what it's going to be a year from now. So if you have a team of 10, a brokerage of 3,000, a whatever it happens to be, head on over to stackwrap.com, talk to one of their reps, and get going. I promise you won't regret it, especially as a brokerage or a team. You can actually see what your people are doing. You can see heat maps of where they are. There's so much you can do. Go check them out. You won't regret it. Stackwrap.com. Now, nobody in there can follow all of those different ways I'm going to talk about. I don't want them to. The point is to look at your personality. Again, if you ask a fish to climb a tree, if you ask Max to go and door knock a neighborhood, Max doesn't feel so effective anymore. No. Max doesn't feel like the broker owner of a successful brokerage just outside of LA, the founder of a thriving tech company in the real estate space. Max feels like a failure now because you put Max in the wrong place. You understand? And so one of the reasons I do that within the Academy and others, and we do these series and we go into like many options, is not to confuse. It's to get them to understand, hey, you got a lot at the buffet to choose from. And you may not be a meatloaf person, but you might be into steak. Yeah. And let's find what it is, because once you find it, you're never going to stop eating it. You understand? 100%. And so from the personality perspective, it's like, yeah, we're going to teach prospecting in that way, and we're going to teach other ways, and we're going to teach whatever. And whether it's a team you're building, we're actually about to do a whole separate small group thing with team building and how there's many different ways to build a team, not just one way like a lot of gurus try to tell you. Right. You got to know yourself. Yeah. What's the thing, most success in business or anything, I did this for our 2026 planning. I'm like, guys, I'm not having you fill out a 17-page business plan. Yeah. You'll never follow it. No. Nobody's looking at page 8 in March when everything's not working. Right. Success is about doing one or two things consistently. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. That's
what it is. And also, like what, at the end of the day, what's your motivation for, like, what's the ultimate, what's the desired outcome for the current things that you are doing? Right. For example, I want to be a real estate agent and be successful at it because I have a sick grandmother who I want to help my parents be financially, okay. I want to contribute to the money that they're paying for grandma's medical expenses, right? I think a lot of people get into real estate, and there's a reason why there's such a high failure rate is because they see the money. Like if you're in real estate because you want to be rich or because you want to, money is an output of the foundation that you're building as a professional, right? Sure. So I think it's realizing this is my end goal. This is what motivates me. This is the reason why I wake up every day and do what I do, because being a real estate agent is very hard. You don't have a boss. You're setting your own schedule. You have to be a self-motivating person to be a successful real estate agent, as in, entrepreneur land like you're in.
Yeah.
But, if you're in it for the wrong reasons, there's a pretty big chance you're just not going to be successful because you're always just chasing the money.
Right. And it's gonna test you. It's gonna get tough. It's gonna get
tough.
Like
Super
they don't.
tough.
Yeah. It's you're gonna be going, why did I do this? What am I doing here? And if it's ultimately about being successful, making money, doing whatever, you're gonna have more moments than not where that's not happening.
100%.
That are reinforcing the idea I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, 100, man. Take the academy for me. Like the reason why I drastically changed what we were doing, and I said I want to train people. I'm not a coach. I'm a trainer. That's what I do. But I love the idea of being able to affect those people and do whatever. And so when difficult things come up, or we have an angry client, or there's a billing issue, or whatever, it's just I don't care. That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out and let's move on. It's not an excuse to not do it anymore, because this is ultimately what I'm after. And we're going to keep doing this come hell or high water. Like, we're going to keep helping. We're going to keep doing whatever. It's a different focus. You're right. It can't be about money. Not to mention, it's an old adage, but it's true. If it's about money, at some point you'll hit that money point and you'll realize, now what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at some point that's going to get boring.
Or it's just like, it's hard to determine how much money is enough money.
Right.
Right? You make $1 million. Are you satisfied? Do you want to make more? So
how many times I've run the numbers on okay, what's the number, right? And it's, to be completely honest, I'm at the number. If I wanted to stop, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Every single, I got a couple friends who are filthy rich, okay? Filthy. Every single one of them went back to work.
Yeah.
Sitting on a beach every day,
man.
drinking a cocktail is really cool on day 3.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
After a while, if you're in paradise every day, paradise isn't paradise.
Right.
Paradise is Wednesday. It's just another day. It's just another, there's something about, being in the struggle, knowing you can fail, knowing that one of the options that happens here is failure.
Yeah.
And something about that pushes you and says, no, I don't want that to happen. I'm going to, once you get to a point, you're just like, whatever. It's like life it ceases to matter.
Yeah, I know a lot of your audience are real estate agents, and I think this point is probably going to resonate with them a lot. But it's, there are so many more failures in a day, in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year than there are wins, right?
Yeah.
And I think that also kind of plays into how comfortable are you failing?
Yeah.
Right? Do you enjoy it? Like, if you're cold calling a list and trying to drum up some business and you get cussed out by someone or they hang up on you, right? How do you take that? If you take that to heart, which a lot of people do, and that's not a problem if you do, but it's going to make being a real estate agent that much more challenging because you're now afraid of the rejection. You're afraid of, oh man, my buddy bought a house with his aunt.
When it should have been expected.
And I was cultivating that lead for 7 months, sending them listings, really getting them prepared for ultimately purchasing their first house. And then I didn't hear from them for a month, and then I see him on Facebook saying, this is our new house, and congratulations.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that happens all the time. It's happened to me countless times.
It's called being in real estate.
It's called just living life. It doesn't really matter what industry you're in. Like, you're always going to feel failures, micro failures, macro failures, but it's how are you dealing with that, right?
Yeah.
And how can you just sort of pivot your mindset of saying the next no is going to lead to the next yes.
That's it, man.
Right?
Like, this is when the cliches ring true, right? There's no W's and
100%.
L's. W's and L's are wins and learns.
Yep.
That's it. You know, like when you go out in a day and say, my goal today is to get 20 no's.
Yeah.
Well, then every no you get, you're happy about, because that was your expectation.
Yeah.
Like, here we go, right?
Yeah.
I remember one time, you want to talk about being the motivational speaker. One of my son's friends, they came up to me and they, they're like, Mr. James, and they're like asking you about your social, whatever. They're like, what's it like to be an entrepreneur? And I've got the captive audience of this teenage kid who he's looking for me to tell him what color Lamborghini you pick out and which Ferrari do you drive today and whatever. What's it like to be an entrepreneur? And I looked back at this kid and I saw the life just leave his eyes and I said, well, let me tell you what the truth is. I said, every single day I get punched 50 plus times in the face and 3 good things happen. And I hope the 3 good things outweigh those 50 punches and keep me going until the next day.
Yeah.
And I just saw him just kind of look at me like, that is not what I was looking for, you know? And I said, buddy, that's the reality. Yeah. You know, I said, you know, entrepreneurship is more like an MMA career than it is, you know, any of these things you hear. It's like the best fighters get beat. Yeah. You know, and even the winner loses. Yeah. You know, you look at an MMA fight and they go and they interview the winner and the loser, and then they interview the winner. Yeah. And you look at the face and you go, you're the winner? That's what you look. You just got the crap beaten out of you. Yeah. You're the winner, right? And it's like, yeah, that's what being an entrepreneur is. It's like even when you win, you got the crap beaten out of you, you know. And it's like who can make it through, right? Totally. And who's going to do it again? Totally. Yeah, entrepreneurship, man. It's much more of an MMA career than it is, you know. What is something where they go undefeated forever? What sport does that even?
I don't even know if that
does that even happen.
Doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
and even if it did,
Floyd Mayweather went undefeated, right?
Battle scars are attractive, man. Yeah, it's like, you know, it really does build some character. Like for me personally, I was such a friendly kid. I had a lot of friends when I was growing up.
I could see that.
But man, I was shy. I didn't. Public speaking, forget about it. Like if I had to give a speech in front of a class when I was in 8th grade, I was nervous for weeks.
Did you have the porn stash in 8th grade, or did you grow that later?
It came out.
That came out later?
Yeah,
okay.
Later.
Every time you walk by, I just hear elevator music, a little boom chicka paka.
Yeah,
just going by.
He's a little jealous of
nobody
this.
wears it like Max, okay?
Yeah, I will say that.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you. But
let's get into that, by the way. Let's get into your because
sure.
because that's actually why I have you here. I think that your story is really cool, and I think it's inspiring to a lot of people. And you know, I had you on here one time and we talked about Stack Wrap, and we'll hear a little bit about that because there's been a lot of updates and such. And it's a company I think everybody should be using right now, who has agents and has a tech stack they want to be using. But your story is really cool. And I think it's, you know, it's why people listen to podcasts. They want to hear that stuff. They want to whatever. So you said that you were a kid-friendly kid, shy kid. Were you born? You live just outside of LA now?
Yeah, an hour.
Did you live there as a kid?
Born and raised in LA. Went to college in LA. I've never lived outside.
You're so normal.
LA
like, you know,
County.
I got to tell you, man. Like for someone from LA, you're so normal. What happened?
It's got a weird, you know, thing about
I always
LA
mess
people.
with you, yeah.
But no, like I was, you know, a shyer kid. But I had a lot of friends, but I just didn't like to be in the spotlight. I didn't like to have a lot of attention and eyeballs on me. And it's funny, I was having this conversation with one of my close friends a couple of days ago. That he's like, man, you're the most extroverted person I've ever met. And this guy is super extroverted. Yeah. And I was like, I had a little imposter syndrome. I'm like, first off, I guess thank you for the compliment. But, you know, he's like, how did you become, you know, like confident in speaking and all these things? And I said, it's funny you ask because it was really my real estate career, right? After I graduated college, I got a sales job at a tech company, and that was sort of my first introduction into selling things to people I didn't know. But when I first got into my career, I was forced into very uncomfortable situations, right? I was 21, didn't know anyone.
Forced into which career? This is before real estate?
No. So as soon as I got into I was an unpaid real estate intern. That is how I broke into the real estate career.
Well, that was me as a kid. Like, so what were you doing though? You were in some other form of sales and then you got into real estate?
I was working for a company called Shopzilla. I don't know if anyone remembers
that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's old, like you'd go to shopzilla.com to comparison shop for the fridge that you wanted to buy, right? So and it would send you some results.
You were doing sales for them, or
sales? Yeah. So I was selling to our tier 3 merchants. Oh. So Costco and Target are tier 1 merchants. Tier 3 is Jim's Hammers in Arkansas.
The dollar store.
No, the dollar store. That's a big company. Like I'm talking about the dude that sells saws and like dresses out of his garage, sort of thing. So those were the people I was dealing with, and I would, you know, every time the company released something, it was our responsibility to then call these merchants and upsell them, right? And it was a team of 3, and not to brag, but like I would probably, my counterpart would sell 5, another person would sell 7. I would sell 200. Like,
but you had no prior sales experience?
None whatsoever. And we had the leaderboard, and the CEO walked past the leaderboard every single day because his office was just a couple of, it's just down the hall. And I mean, it was disproportionately uneven.
Huh.
And that's when I sort of realized that I enjoyed selling.
But did you have any training at that point, or was it just like a sixth sense of like, how do I connect here?
Not really.
Because you're a good connector. So do you think that's where that kind of like kicked in? You didn't have sales training, but you knew that you had to connect with these people, and so you just kind of used your spidey senses to do that, or like what was going on?
Yeah, like they had scripts that we were supposed to follow, and I never followed them. I just would really call the person and have a genuine conversation, and then sell the thing I was supposed to sell.
Okay.
So it was just being more of a human, right? And I think I translated that into eventually my real estate career. But, like that's where I kind of get my chops for selling, right?
Yeah.
It was at the software company. And the way I kind of transitioned into real estate was, I was living at home after college. I was trying to keep my expenses low. I still wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with my career, but
You were living with your parents still?
Living with my
when
parents.
you were working at Shopzilla?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just keeping my overhead as low as I possibly could, because I knew I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. And I knew I needed a little bit of a nest egg. So every single dollar I was making at the website company, I was saving. Like
Gotcha.
I was really trying to keep my expenses low.
All right, your parents, so there's no rent or anything. You just take every dollar and just save it.
I have such good parents.
Yeah.
Like they were super supportive. But for real estate, I admired the industry sort of from an outsider's perspective. I didn't really want to be a real estate agent. I wasn't quite sure how to penetrate the industry. But I ended up joining, I went to USC, and I joined
Southern
there.
California University, for anybody who's wondering.
Yeah. And I joined the Marshall School of Business Alumni Association.
Okay.
Right? I did not go to the business school, but I'm like, well, this is a good opportunity for me to, again, get uncomfortable, meet people.
Maybe get around people who would,
yeah.
who knows where it goes, but like.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Right. So I ended up meeting the person who brought me into the industry. His name's Richard Haynes, a great dude. But I was probably 21, 22 at the time. He was 24, 25. So he was a couple years older than I was, but still a really young guy.
Yeah.
But he was a one-man show doing everything. He had his broker's license, right? He didn't have any agents, but he was acting as a real estate.
So you met him at the school?
I met him at this alumni group, and I really
And you
made
found
a
out he was
connection.
in real estate, and at this point you don't really know what you want to do, but you're like, well, there's another option. He looks like he's doing okay.
100%.
Okay.
100%. So I really took a leap of faith. I'm like, hey, this is an industry I'm really interested in. I don't know much about it, but I'm willing to work for free. And all I asked for in return is just sort of teach me the business, right?
So you went to him and said, I will work for you for free.
Yeah.
Did you put a timeline on it? Did you do like or was it just like let's see how this goes?
Kind of a let's see how this goes. I mean, financially, I probably had about a year before I literally ran out of money.
Oh, so because you had set yourself up to come from a position of strength early on, you're like, okay, I can go learn what I need to learn.
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay. I'll keep my expenses low, but I just need to figure this out.
It was difficult, man. Like, yes, to answer your question, and it's like a lot of my friends during that, who I went to college with, they were getting the jobs, they were driving the BMWs, like they looked successful, right?
Such a lesson in that, by the way.
Such a lesson, but it really did take some internal perspective to say, this is a step backwards, kind of, but not really.
And the cost of living, I would think it's LA. Like it's not. This isn't.
Well, it's hard. I mean, I was living in my parents' house, so
Mississippi or something though. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like it's you go to restaurants, you go to whatever.
Sure.
It's not super cheap.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not super cheap. So it was very difficult to do this. But I had to be very disciplined. I had to say this is an opportunity for me to get my foot in a door in an industry that I want to learn more about.
Did he go right for it? Did you have to talk him into it?
He went for it pretty quickly.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, we established a good friendship over the last like 3 months, and
he
then
said, what was that rate again? Free?
Free? Yeah, sure. Come work for me.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was employee number 2. I started.
Doing what though? Like, what were you doing?
Well, the first day of the job, he's like, "You're going to sign up for the real estate exam because I cannot pay you if you do not have a real estate license." So that was the first thing I did. But the first couple of months, it was just sort of being a fly on the wall. You know, like he was not only a real estate broker, but he was also, you know, he was raising private equity to buy spec homes.
Oh wow! So he was
developing,
bit of an entrepreneur.
Developing homes. He owned a lot of apartment buildings in South Central. So my first job was be a fly on the wall, kind of be a little bit of an admin person. And then as soon as I got my real estate license, it was, okay, cool, I can now pay you. I will pay you $800 a month to go manage my hood apartment buildings.
You said South Central, and I was like,
South Central, yeah, like, you know. So
that's boys in the hood right there.
It was, you know, it was dangerous. Like there was, I did not enjoy doing that. But like, here's the main takeaway is I got to taste so many different components of the real estate industry early on. And I also got to understand how the business of a real estate brokerage worked, like the economics.
Yeah.
How does it make money? What are commission splits that you offer your agents? How does the company make money off of that? Like what
company was he with at that point? Was he independent or was he?
He was
with
independent. A company, a small little shop called Manhattan Pacific Realty.
Okay.
So I was employee number 2. When I eventually left, there were maybe 15 or so agents.
Oh, wow.
So I helped him grow it a little bit.
Okay.
But I really got the education that I needed to then make a much more educated decision about what I wanted to do in terms of, do I get my broker's license? Do I continue to be a real estate agent? Because at that point, I mean, the first couple of years of my career, once I understood it, I became a really good agent.
Okay, so you became a really good agent. Did you go straight from him into being a broker? Did you go straight to Kraft and Bauer, or did you like go be an agent somewhere else, or like what did you?
No, I hung my license as soon as I got my license. I hung it with Manhattan Pacific, the brokerage I was at.
Right.
And I was there for probably 5 years.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was a full-time real estate agent.
Doing business, doing whatever, just like, and you were at that point, you're making a living doing it. You were doing pretty good at it.
Yeah, doing great.
Okay, what's doing great mean?
I mean, I was probably selling 50 homes a year.
Oh, that's awesome, especially in that area. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, my bread and butter became apartment buildings and institutional investors who were buying homes at scale.
Gotcha.
So that was
Back
sort of
before that was a point of contention in our industry.
Little bit, yes.
Yeah.
But so that's where I resonated towards. But you know, it was just really building a career from scratch and learning from someone who was a very big role model in my life, and just sort of learning how a good real estate operates. How
do you guys still ever talk or anything?
We do, yeah, from time to time. You know, not as much as we did.
You're technically now competitors, right?
Kind of a little, but we have a good working relationship.
Okay, so you go 5 years, and then you make the decision. Okay, it's time to, move on. Is this when you go and start your own brokerage, or do you go to another place? What'd you do?
It was. I was kind of at the point in my career where I didn't rely on paid lead sources. It was all sphere of influence. It was all word of mouth. And I just felt confident enough to get my broker's license. And I didn't know if I wanted to build a company or what, but I'm like, well, I might as well just get it so I can determine my own commission splits. That was really sort of my personal incentive.
Okay.
So I went down the path of obtaining it. And, along the way, early on in my career, I met my current business partner at Kraft & Bauer. His name's Dominic Labriola, brilliant guy, going back to knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses. So Dominic was running a company called Mercer Vine. At the time that I met him, he was the COO. Mercer Vine was an independent brokerage of maybe 300 agents, a beautiful brand, beautiful
So he's a financial
brokerage.
guy, he understands that.
He's the financial guy. He's the operational guy. He's sort of the engine that makes the machine run,
Gotcha.
right? But he's not necessarily the conductor, sort of the face of the train, if you will.
Yeah.
So I met him early on in my agent career as just a really nice, genuine person. One of my first friends in real estate. So, and And again, he was sort of up here when I was still figuring out my career. He was, the CEO of a brokerage.
Yeah.
So so I built that relationship over a couple of years. So when I got to the point of, okay, I've got my broker's license, what direction do I want to sort of take it? My first call was Dominic. And I said, hey, can we grab lunch? And this is what I want to talk about. I'm getting my broker's license. I would love to start a company. I know you have started a company. At the time I had that conversation, Mercer was acquired by Compass. So Dominic was no longer.
How long ago was that?
Gosh, this was 2017.
Okay.
I want to say. So he was at Compass, and he just didn't like being under a big corporate environment. So, I got very lucky and I asked, I'm like, do you want to start this company together and help me build it? We will co-found an independent brokerage. We'll build it from the ground up and we'll do our thing.
And you went independent. I heard you say independent brokerage. You decided to go independent brokerage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
in the beginning, we'll get into that, but
yeah. So, but that's how really the inception of Craft & Bauer started, was just getting into an industry I was very curious about, having a good mentor. I learned, built relationships, and then eventually built out enough social equity in this person to then say, hey, do you want to start a company together? And then cross my fingers that he says yes.
And take this quick break from the podcast to talk about Mosaik. You've heard me talk about it before, but man, has there been changes. When you look at what's going on in our industry right now, whether you're an individual, but especially if you're a team or a brokerage, and you look at Rocket buying Redfin and then Mr. Cooper, and you look at the Zillow Super app and all of these things, you need to be asking, what do I need to do to compete moving forward? Because what they're doing is they're building end-to-end ecosystems in what I call the economy of convenience. And your people are going to go what's for convenient, not just who's taking care of them. And if you can't match them and you can't offer an end-to-end economy for them to actually operate in, then we're going to have a problem, right? And so this is your place to do it. One of the great things about our industry is that we come up with amazing tools, amazing tech tools. Problem is we have so many different ones, and every time we use a different one, we miss an opportunity to get a consumer used to the same one they would then use post-close, which is where all the value is. So we have them use something for transaction management. We have them use something for e-signature. We have them use something for forms. We have them use something to make an offer. We have them use something, and it's all different, convoluted. Mosaik makes it very easy, all the way from search to property analyzation to making an offer to the forms to transaction management to a client-facing app to post-close follow-up, everything all in one place. And every time they use it along the path of getting their home or selling their home, they get more and more comfortable with it, which only adds to the option, to the availability, to the chance that they're actually going to use that thing post-close, which is where it all matters. It's branded to you. They know about you. You're giving them information they want. It's following up in ways post-close that statistically we know they want to hear from you. So if you're not using Mosaik yet, make sure you go check out Mosaik, mosaik.io. Get it for yourself, your team, your brokerage right away. And at this point, by the way, I'm putting this together in my head. Are you at this point with your wife or no?
At this point, yes.
Okay, dating or married?
We are dating, and it's funny. I met her when I was an unpaid intern, and my wife is a visual effects producer. But when I met her,
not just a visual effects producer, she has won
an Emmy.
Yeah,
she's a very successful producer currently, but. Yeah. It's funny, when I met her, she was doing audience work at the Dr. Phil show, and she was trying to really break into the film industry, right? So I was an unpaid intern trying to break into real estate. She was trying to break into...
She saw the porn stash?
Didn't have the porn stash.
Oh, God. False advertising.
Clean shaven.
Okay.
But yeah, we met each other at the sort of the beginning of our careers, and just...
She said, "This is my ticket, this unpaid intern."
Yeah.
Yeah. This is...
Yeah.
God, yeah. What did you tell her you did for a living that got her to think that this was her ticket?
I told her. I was very upfront with her.
Oh, that's great.
So, you never, but it's the relationship building. I think that's, if we're looking at takeaways from these conversations, it's the relationships because you never know when you're going to need something from someone. You never know when partnership opportunities will happen. So yeah.
All right, so you get into Craft & Bauer. Now, this is no longer your partner, right? You bought the partner out?
No. Still my
your partner.
To this
Okay.
day, yes.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Stacker. Okay, so you've got your partner here, but you guys are no longer independent. And now talk me through that, because we got people who have listened to this.
Sure.
And I'm not saying, look, guys, I just want to be very clear right now. I am not endorsing either way.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you,
Yes.
okay? And want to know your experience. Like, you made the decision that being independent was no longer feasible or the right choice for you.
Yeah.
Explain that to me. Explain when that happened. Explain where you went, and just explain why you did that.
Yeah, it's complicated.
And be as open as you can. Like,
I will.
You know, we always try when it comes to, you know, our audience here. We want to try to just be as open and honest as we can with them. Don't say anything you can't say, but like anything you can, like, go ahead.
Yeah. You know, we were running an independent brokerage for 7 or 8 years. Started it in Los Angeles with a handful of agents, and then grew it throughout California, and then we expanded into Arizona. So we were in 2 different states, about 80 agents or so.
Are you still in Arizona?
We are.
Scottsdale?
Yeah.
How come you never tell me that? I'm in Scottsdale all the time.
Oh, come on, dude.
Lyndon and I will be there coming up.
Okay.
Next month or something like
Nice.
that. It's like our spots where we got married.
We continue this conversation in a month.
Yes, we continue. You did. Hey, not for nothing. Last month you did
Yeah.
say, wait, are you coming to LA?
Yeah.
And we did get together.
Oh, yeah. That was the last time I was hungover.
Oh, God. What is wrong with you?
Jared's a bad influence.
Jared is not a bad influence. Jared was completely fine the next day, okay?
All right, okay.
Tell me you didn't have a good time.
Yeah, I did have a good time.
Yeah, come on. We went to the comedy show.
We did.
Come on, that was a blast.
Brought you, yeah.
That was a good
Had
time.
a souffle at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
We did have a souffle, and
Yes.
Ben Stiller was next to us. We ate dinner
Yeah.
next to Virgin Guy. Not Virgin Guy, but created the company Virgin.
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, it's funny. You live in LA, you never really see celebrities. It's not what people
Yeah.
kind of think it is. But
Yeah.
I bring Jared, and
Yeah.
over the course of 2 hours, we see.
Yeah, we just
Richard.
started bumping into people, and yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. It was a good time. Anyway,
yes.
yeah, he's like, and we did it.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so you make this decision.
Yes. So, you know, I mean,
What even made you start to think about
we
not being
felt,
independent?
We felt like we hit a little bit of a critical mass, right? Like we were growing at a pretty decent clip. However, we were backfilling our growth with a lot of employees, a lot of support staff, a lot of marketing staff. All of the tech we were offering our agents was very expensive. So it really, and you know, we were the ringleaders. It was Dominic and myself and our third partner, Shayna Gates. Shayna's an amazing person. But it was our responsibility to train our agents and to coach our agents and to really be the forces of their influence, essentially, right? Plus, it was very expensive.
Provide the tools, which, by the way, we'll get into this, but this is where StackRap came from.
Yeah, totally.
Is the idea of like you have these brokerages and everything with these big tech stacks,
Yeah.
but like nobody's using them. Nobody knows what anybody is using.
Right.
Nobody even, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. But
Yeah.
okay, so you started having the support staff everywhere. You probably had to have different people in different places.
Different people,
Yeah.
yeah. And we were also just sort of a little bit more autonomous. Like we felt like we were operating in a vacuum, so to speak. Like I love indies. Indies are my favorite.
Yeah, because you got an indie vibe about you.
Yeah, man. Like
Yeah, you
know,
are.
do your own thing.
Yeah.
But there is a benefit of being part of a larger organization, especially it's like I've got a client moving from San Diego to Connecticut, right? How do I make a referral? Do we have anyone that we could, you know? So we felt like we needed to be part of something a little bit larger, coupled with the fact that we needed to reduce our expenses as a
I was gonna say,
as
was there an
operation.
overhead issue? Meaning, like it just started to like economies of scale. It's like
Yeah.
you start growing, and it's like, okay, yeah, we're growing, and top line revenue is growing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, for any business out there, you know, the vanity model is going to be top line revenue, but it's about profit.
We were as profitable when we had 25 agents versus
There you
when
go.
we had 7.
There you go.
Right?
That's exactly what I was getting to. Like that's a common thing that I hear over and over again.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, most brokerages are not profitable.
Yeah.
You know, it's the teams now that are making money and such.
It's the teams. So you know, that's why we wanted to be part of something larger, all these things. We wanted our agents to have a lot more resources. Where we moved into, I mean, we rolled it into Real. So
You went
now,
to Real?
Yeah, so now there's a rev share component.
Yep.
So there's all these things that we can now offer our agents. That
How did they help solve the overhead challenge? Like, do you use a lot of their resources as far as like from the perspective of, I don't know, payroll or different systems or the technology they're using or the whatever? Like, how did that help you?
Yeah, like some of their tech is like SkySlope, for example.
Yeah.
We were paying, you know, a pretty penny for SkySlope for all of these different seats. Real has an in-house solution that is very good.
Yeah.
we didn't need 7 support staff, right? We needed 1 now.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
When we onboard an agent, Real is handling those things. So not to get too specific on Real, but like
this isn't it's not a billboard for them, but it's just I appreciate being honest though. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of companies have that ability to be able to, but for you guys, you looked at it and you're like, okay, they do that. And you guys are still very indie. Like, I think that's one of the things you liked was that they allowed you to kind of remain yourselves.
Yes.
But it just didn't make sense to be paying that kind of overhead when you didn't have to be.
Right.
There's a solution.
Yeah.
It's like, why keep doing,
Yeah.
All right? I mean, would that summarize it?
Yeah, it would. It would. I mean, but it's circumstantial. Like, some indies, like now at StackRap land, we have mega indie brokerages, thousands and thousands of agents under one brand, and they run a awesome business.
Yeah.
And they scale and they go into different states and they're doing all the things. So there's not a one size fits all solution for this.
Well, StackRap is one of those tools now. Well, first off, we'll get into this, but it's part of why you created it.
Yeah.
It's because it wasn't available to you.
Right.
That would have been something that would have helped you.
Yes.
Previously.
Yes, 100%.
And that's really where it came from.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So you know what, man, let's just get right into it because I think it's kind of cool because we're talking about you as the person, you as the agent, you as the broker owner, the indie broker, then switching over to Real. But you're also now you're CEO, you're founder of StackRap, which is a company that, I've started promoting and it's like, because I think it's such a great tool for what it's for. Why did you, first off, what is StackRap? And then why did you create it when you did? Because it's evolved.
Yes.
So let's talk about what it is today. Like, what is it? If you could describe it to people, like, what is StackRap?
Yeah, very simple. So it is StackRap is an online platform where you're bringing your tech, your tools, your systems. I mean, basically any tech component important to you, you're putting it into StackRap. From a team or a brokerage perspective, the brokerage is bringing in all of their tools that they offer their agents, creating one centralized ecosystem. So individual agent logs into the brokerage's StackRap account, which is white labeled and all these different things, to access the tools that the brokerage
everything
offers.
that they need. So it's not 50 different bookmarks and 50 different tabs open and who's doing what and what's happening here and whatever. It's bring them into one place. You've got StackRap also for individual users as well. But where it really shines, as far as from the perspective of, teams and brokerages are paying for these tools or they want their people to be implementing certain things. I mean, you can put Jared James Academy in there. It's like, this is where you sign on. Here's where the sessions are going to be. Here's where whatever.
Yeah.
It's just bringing everything into one place, which actually brings your adoption rate up, which is really what it's all about. It's not about paying for something and, we offer this.
Yeah.
It's like if people aren't going to use it, but then again, how do you know if they're using it?
Right. And that was, so the reason it's a thing now is because when we were an indie, we offered our agents great tech, right? Follow-up Boss, Sisu, you name it, a tech suite that we just sort of hand selected. But when we were onboarding agents, there was such an efficiency gap because it's like, hey, Jared, welcome to Kraft & Bauer. Here are all these great tools. Let's go through them. Let's bookmark them in your browser. Let's make sure you can
set up usernames and passwords.
And password, boom, boom, boom. So, early on, this was at a point, 2018-ish, 2019, where Compass was really prevalent, especially in Los Angeles, right? A lot of the agents we were interviewing were also interviewing for Compass.
Yeah.
And we would lose out on some of those interviews because they're like, man, you know what? Compass just has everything in one spot, man. Like,
it makes it easy.
Makes my life easy, and I just don't want to think about it. So we knew that was a really big vulnerability in our business. And it's like, if we're going to survive, if we're going to actually recruit the agents we want, we got to solve this problem, right? Like, we got to make our agents' life easy.
Can I just say real quick, that so fits for our audience. That so fits what I've said for years.
Yeah.
Competition either eliminates you or makes you better.
Yeah.
And instead of looking at your competition and bashing them and saying why they're terrible and everything else, you need to acknowledge that they're taking market share.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And so instead of bashing them and trashing them and everything else, say, what do they offer that we can take and add to our tool belt?
Yeah.
So now we have it. Learn from them.
100%.
I love the fact that you did that, man. That so fits everything that I've said for years. Competition eliminates you or makes you better.
Right.
You decide which one it is.
Yeah.
And I can promise you that if you're complaining about them and it's going to eliminate you.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so we had to your point, we had to solve this problem. So we built a very early version of StackRap. And it was great. Like,
what does that mean? We built a did you have experience with this? Did you know what you were doing? How do you just go and, did you jump into your lab one day and bibbity bobbity boo and you built a tech stack?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, so going back to relationships, right? There's all these different things that are very important in these conversations. But like my co-founder, Dominic, put out a posting on LinkedIn about, hey, we're looking to build this piece of software, keep everything in one spot, blah, blah, blah. And one of his buddies that he hadn't talked to in years saw that LinkedIn post, reached out, we had a meeting, and it was the person I ended up starting StackRap with. His name is Matt, and he was the lead dev behind it. So Matt was the one with our direction. You know, he built a very early version of what the product eventually turned into. But it's like, it was such a simple thing. Cool, yeah. Keep everyone in one spot. All
started off as a very basic.
Yeah,
keep them in
basic.
here.
Keep them in here. And as soon as we released it, our agents, like the adoption of our tech, went up tremendously. When we were on recruiting calls with agents, we turned on our screens. We're like, hey, you transfer your license over. Everything is in this centralized hub. Super easy for you to navigate the tools. So after probably 2.5 years of just proving the model, understanding the solution more and more, I was like, I think I can turn this into a business. Like, I think there's other brokerages and team leaders who are struggling with the same things.
Did you think that, or did somebody get in your ear, or like, what was it?
No,
was it just your entrepreneurial side being like, oh my God, this is such a solution for me? It's like you scratch your own itch, and you're like, I know other people have this issue.
I felt it in my gut, but here's the most important thing is like, what motivates me is not money. Like, I'll take money because I'm a businessman, but I knew this was a fundamental problem that affected indies especially, right? But also you're a 100-person team under Remax. And yeah, you might use some of Remax's tools here and there, but it's like, no, my agents are coaching with Jared James. They're also using Follow Boss. Like, they are using tools outside.
Like, in other words, you're saying that sometimes with the brands, like, they have their stuff, but it's just their stuff.
Yeah.
And yet a lot of places, a lot of teams, a lot of brokerages may pick and choose some things they use from their brand, but then they also are like, but I use that over there.
Yeah.
But then I also use this over here.
Yeah.
And you don't have the availability to bring that into your center stack within a brand or within whatever, where this will give you the option of everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Throw it in one spot.
Yeah.
So I was more motivated to make this a solution for people, right? Especially if you're not Compass, right? Like, I have a ton of friends who are at Compass. I'm not trying to bash them.
No.
But, you know, like, I was motivated to make this a piece of software that could really help my peers, which were people that were running teams, managing agents, offering them tech, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really how StackRap came to be.
Okay, so tell me the difference between StackRap from its first glimpse of when you were using it then to where it is today, like to what it can do today, and to, you know, like tell me the difference there.
Oh boy, how long do we have? So I will say that the early version was pretty basic. You're putting your stuff in there, agent logs in, accesses.
But by the way, I just want to be clear here, because I've built things, I've whatever. You were probably psyched though. Like, when you see it the first time,
for sure.
It's funny now when you look back. It's like looking back at a picture of yourself from 6 years ago and you're like, I wore that?
Yeah.
What was that haircut?
Oh man, yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Do the people around you not love you enough to tell you?
Yeah.
Like, you know, whatever. But man, when you build something from scratch, like, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
You had a thought and now it exists.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, like, when you see that thing, nobody could tell you nothing. It's like, this is the greatest thing that's ever lived. Like, this is, and now, of course, you look back and you're like, God, that had some limitations.
Yeah.
You know, but tell me you weren't psyched when that sucker came out.
Dude, I'm pumped. Every step of my life, I'm pumped. Like, you know, so, but to answer your question, where it was just a basic utility thing. You put your tools in there, agent logs in, accesses the tools. Where it's since sort of evolved into is more, it does exactly what it used to do, but now from a team leader perspective, from a broker owner perspective, we're leading with how can we make this the stickiest experience possible? What can we do to incentivize agents to log in, access the tools, find the brokerage relationships with the title company that they have reciprocity with.
Yeah.
Like, so we've built in a lot of things about analytics, not to get too nerdy, but it's like, cool, I can log in. I've got 100 agents part of my office. First off, are these agents even logging in? You can tell, right?
Right.
Oh man, I have 30 people that haven't logged in the last week. How do I solve for that?
That tells you what kind of activity they're doing.
Like, this is where I think what really separates us as a software company is we are very intentional about what we're doing with the platform, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm also a broker owner. I'm a real estate operator, as this person
Which, by the way, is using it for your own brokerage.
Yeah, right. So it's like, how are your agents reacting to this? How can we make it better? So we've now built in a lot of automations about, okay, if an agent does not log into your StackRap environment in X amount of days, which the admin is determining, that person will be sent a pre-populated message that the admin gets to write. So it's still, the voice is still coming from the brokerage or the team.
Right.
So it's reminding the agents to log into the place that houses all of the brokerage's tools.
Can they send out messages overall if they want to?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You can do all of that. You can also see exactly what we call it, sort of a heat map of like, what are your agents interacting with within StackRap? So for example, you're paying $5,000 a month for XYZ tool. You've got 200 agents under your office.
Right.
You pull your analytics, you're like, okay, over 30 days, this very expensive tool, it got 17 clicks out of 500 agents.
Yeah.
Right? Is this something that I need to promote more internally? Is this something I want to continue to even offer my agents? Like, are they finding value in this expensive thing? That's for the account holder to decide. But because everything is centralized, we can really distill the data
But isn't
down.
that what I love about that, by the way, is like, okay, so there's two ways to look at that. You look at it and you go, okay, this tool that we're paying $5,000 a month for only got 17 clicks and we have 500 agents. The other thing that a heat map can do for you as the admin is maybe it needs to be moved to a different place.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe all the heat is over here.
Sure.
You know, it's kind of like a website. They used to always go, okay, it's all up here. This is where it is. This is where everybody's going, like whatever. Like, there's also the opportunity to kind of be like, okay, we have things that are important this month. We have things that we're focused on. We have things that you can rearrange that dashboard for the users to be like, bam, there you go. This is going to be, are they using it now? Mm-hmm. So maybe that's not the issue. Maybe this is the issue. Maybe, you know, whatever it is. Like, I kind of love that ability to kind of try to drive adoption, knowing where the heat is, knowing where the fire is happening.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that's come out since then? You got your heat map. Obviously, you said you can do your notifications. You can pull in anything that you want.
Yeah.
You know?
Like so another big component, again, going back to how sticky can we make this thing? Like right now, it's still very much a utility tool, right? Person logs in to access the thing that they are looking for, to see the company notifications, et cetera. But we're building in a social component, which we're releasing probably in the next 2 months or so. But you know, so it's kind of like a dumbed down version of, like, we're not rebuilding Facebook, but we're going to do something where you can post, I've got a coming soon listing in this neighborhood. You know, does anyone, if you've got a buyer for it, let me know. Post, right?
Because of how the industry's changing.
You're one of the agents. You can you can comment. Oh yeah, I actually do have a buyer for this off-market listing. So you know, it's now going to become sort of
it's like central command,
the heartbeat of the organization, right? I'm now logging into StackRap to kind of see what's just going on at the brokerage, right, or of the team. So
it's central command. It is. Right. This is where everything's going down. This is the tool that's bringing all the tools into one place. Like you said, adoption, all of that stuff. Please excuse this quick break from your episode for me to let you know about Jared James Academy. Guys, if you are watching this right now and you are not in the Academy yet, what are you waiting for? The Academy is literally the best value in real estate, and that's not just me saying it, that's our members saying it. I got a message the other day from someone the other day, and they said, I feel like I'm ripping you off. And that's because the Academy is only $99 a month or $1,097 for the year, and all of it is a complete tax write-off. I'm right now in the middle of doing a complete series on AI so that you know how to get discovered, how to use it to be efficient. Then we're going to talk about planning for the next year. Then we're going into a multi-episode series session series on getting listings. Like for $99 a month, guys, if you follow me, if I'm a voice you listen to, this is something that you can't afford not to be in. You need to be in the Academy. Go to jaredjamestoday.com/academy. If you're watching this and you're like, oh shoot, you know, what does it come with? Guys, me personally, I do 2 live training sessions every single month, and if you can't be there, then they're gonna be recorded, they're available on your dashboard, they're available on your Jared James Academy app. You can watch them on demand. We have notes for you to download with exactly what I talked about, exactly what you need to do, all of our template scripts and dialogues. We've got trainings from our coaches on very specific topics. Like literally, guys, this is the best value in real estate. If you're not in yet, you need to be there. jaredjamestoday.com/academy. Let's get in there as we head into the new year and make sure that you have not just your best year ever, but let's make sure that your career goes to a whole different place. I'll see you in the academy. I have a really important question for you.
Okay.
So StackRap has grown a lot. You've now got brokerages, teams, individuals all over the country. It's just the U.S. or is it beyond?
Oh, we have one account in Canada.
Can you do beyond? Can you do Canada?
We can, yeah, sure.
Okay. Is there any limitation to another place, or is it just that because you're not pulling from an MLS? Can
No.
you do anywhere, or is it just you haven't pulled from anywhere?
We could. I mean, it's
I got audience. When you look at the comments, we've got other languages speaking.
Yeah, it can be in any language, any region, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
but there's no limitation on that. You've brought on a lot of larger. Obviously, look, bread and butter. It's nice when you get 50 person, 100 person, 20 person, 300 person, 500 person. But we've brought on some that are thousands of agents and everything else. How many accounts have you lost since you've really started your growth pattern?
Knock on wood, we have not lost one team account since we've launched the company.
Yeah.
Right. And it's something where it's such a stickiness thing, right? It's like once your agents get used to going to one spot, it's very hard to unring that efficiency bell.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that we're at the stage in our company's history where we can be very proactive. We can reach out to our account holders. Hey, what's working? What's not working? What's a little funky that we need to clean up a little bit?
Yeah. And like I said, you're using it yourself too. So you feel it.
Right.
You're like, hey, we should do this different. Hey, this should happen. You're always, every time I see you, you've got a new update, a new thing. Check this out. Look what's happening over here. Look what's whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that is really important for people to hear what you just said.
Yeah.
Because not like you have 4 accounts. Like you guys have grown astronomically, right? Like every time I see you, you're like, I can't believe it. Like I can't, like that kind of a thing, which I think is awesome. Like there's something about that I think is so cool. But not one has joined on and been like, nah, I'm good. Like they just keep going. And I say that because, look, we've got a lot of individuals, teams, brokerages, those kind of things that listen to this podcast. I can't stress this to you guys enough. Like right now, the pricing is at a point where it's like dumb not to sign up.
Yeah.
I know what's going to happen because I've heard the conversations. I've been on the things when you guys are asking and going, should this be higher? Should this be more? Should this be, whatever? That's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
The pricing's going to keep going. Okay, well, let's try this. Okay, well, let's go a little bit more. Okay, well, let's go further. Okay, well, let's go whatever. There's kind of like this sweet spot right now. And I'm not saying to come take advantage of you, but I'm just saying like there's an opportunity now where it's like it's affordable enough to where it doesn't make sense to not have it as part of your, your overall structure. And you've had 0 accounts. It's just like that have left. It's like, that's called proof of concept.
And I think, so 2 things to that. So number 1, it's intentionally priced pretty affordably because I, again, am more concerned about this is a really helpful tool for a lot of people. This solves a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to... I don't want price to be a barrier of entry. And I don't want people saying, man, this is such a cool thing, but man, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's number 1 that I'm always cognizant of.
Which, by the way, at some point you're going to get pushback from partners and everything else and be like, Max, that's great. And you're a great guy. But this needs to be more. Like this,
I'm sure.
I know I know your personality.
But also the second thing, and it's an interesting one. It's like, and you talk about this a lot of owning I forget exactly how you phrase it, but owning your own real estate.
Own the land you build on?
Own the land you build on.
Yeah.
Right, precisely. Own the land you build on, right? Don't be at the mercy of Zillow leads and then Zillow changes their algorithm or goes a different direction.
And it's gone.
And that was my entire business, right? So to put that into sort of a brokerage term, like we were indie for a lot of years, right? We then moved to real. Not much changed out of our StackRap account. We switched a few tools here and there, but for the most part, it was dated.
That's a really great point.
Like So you're building an ecosystem that you are controlling. If you go from indie to Remax to Century 21 to indie, right? It really allows you to be agnostic and have something very proprietary to be an extension of your brand.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And especially when you start talking about the consistency with your agents, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of the issues that people have. And one of the reasons why, let's face it, a lot of agents, there's an adoption problem when it comes to the tech tools.
Yeah.
Many times it's not because the tools are not good, the tools are not great. It's because they've been burned so many times.
Yeah.
It's like that single mom who's dating a guy and she keeps meeting new guys, and after a while, little Timmy, the kid, is going, I'm not really interested in meeting the next one.
Yeah.
There's this, I'm good, And there's a part of that in our industry where you jump from one to the next to the next to the next, and it's not an issue of the actual product.
Yeah.
It's an issue of adoption. And that is, to me, this is really, to me, the problem that it solves, right? So like I've talked a lot the last couple of years, and we've talked about tools like Mosaik and these other things, and we've talked about how Zillow builds the super app and it's end to end, and you talk about what Rocket Companies is doing, you talk about all these companies, and essentially what they're doing is they're creating the ecosystem for the customer to live from beginning to end. So it's whether it's pre-close, post-close, it's all happening within this ecosystem, which whoever gets them into that ecosystem is the one who wins. That's where they're going to stay. They're going to stay on that app. What I love about this is that we don't talk enough about the idea that the same thing that I'm training people that you need to be doing from agent or broker to consumer is the same thing that broker needs to be doing to agent. So just how the agent has the consumer and they need them in the ecosystem, broker team leader needs agent in the ecosystem. Because if you get them into that ecosystem and get them used to using that ecosystem, it makes it very difficult to leave that ecosystem. And it's the flip side that you don't hear me talk about enough. Because we always talk about agent, to build their income and what happens that way. Flip it back this way. This is the client of the broker and the team leader it's not the client, it's the agents.
It's the agent, right?
It's the same process. You've got to build the ecosystem that they live within, right? And that's one of the things I love that, I liked it the moment you showed it to me, but like you've been adding all these things, making it easier, easily customizable, easily white labeled, I honestly don't understand one team or broker, like individuals, like they should have it. But I get it if they don't. I'm like, all right, you're still trying to figure it out, or you're jumping, or your company offers one, or whatever it is. There shouldn't be a company or a team lead in the country, anywhere, that doesn't have a solution like this for your agents. It's like a disservice. And more importantly, like what you learned, is that you're at a disadvantage. Because when you look at how tech is being built in our industry, what's going to happen when they go to talk to you and they talk to someone else and this one goes, yeah, we offer great tech tools. We also keep them in a space that makes it easy for you. And the other one goes, oh, we have a myriad of things. And you log in over here and then you go over this one, you go to this one, it's just like clutter. I'm never going, you leave there just like anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's awesome. That's really why I wanted to kind of hear the story from you today, because I love the entrepreneurial journey of somebody who's in real estate and said, hey, I love real estate. I'm still in real estate. It's not the end of my road.
Right.
Like I can do this.
Yeah.
Like there's an itch.
Yeah.
Let's scratch it. I love that, man. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Anything we need to say in like closing as far as like, because I think that really gave like an amazing idea of like your story, who you are. I think people watching really got a grasp here.
Yeah.
Super likable guy. You love your customers. You know what you remind me of? And Brandon Wise.
I love Brandon.
We love Brandon.
He's one of my favorite people on the planet, actually.
Do you know why I promote Wise Agent, the CRM?
Yeah.
Not only because it's an awesome tool, and if you ever go off a Follow-Up Boss, you need to go check them out.
Sure.
Like, lesser expensive, does more, and more than anything, bet on the Jockey.
Yeah.
When you talk to Brandon, now there's certain things I can't say publicly. So let's just say, how do I say that? That Brandon has had opportunities that he has turned down because he cares about his customers so much. You know, like he literally just like, you know, he talks about his customer. He talks about what's best for them. He talks about taking care of them. He talks about them trusting in him all these years, and he has to make it right for them, and like works tirelessly. Like the reason I promote Wise Agent so much is not only because it's such a great tool, but I bet on the Jockey. I'm like, not just where it is now, where's it going to be? Because this person cares. This person cares about their customer. This person, when it comes to CRMs and websites, I'm like, Wise Agent, like that's where it's at. Because the Jockey behind it all, the great Oz behind the curtain, man, he cares about those customers. You know, like literally, like it's not a money thing for him. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to make money, but like that's not what drives his decisions.
No.
I feel that a lot when I talk to you. You kind of remind me of that. Like when you talk about StackRap and what it can be and where it can do, and you talk about the solutions it can be for consumers and like all this kind of stuff, you're constantly talking about the customer. And you're like, we could do this, and we could do that, and they'll be able to do this and whatever. And it kind of reminds me of that, which is one of the reasons why I have a guy like you on or whatever. I love betting on jockeys who like, they care about their end consumer.
Thank you. It's literally the only thing I think about, right? When I've got my Kraft and Bauer hat on, I'm literally only thinking about my agents. What's in their best interest? What can we do to make their day-to-day better?
Yeah.
Right? Better marketing, better coaching, better trainings, whatever the case is. And then when I have my StackRap hat on, it's the exact same thing. How can we make this platform that much more efficient, that much more sticky? And I don't know, man, that's a really easy thing to solve for. You just got to care. Like, if I was just in it for the money, I would have a very different tune.
To sell more big houses.
Yeah,
It's
right.
much easier, by the way.
Yeah.
Less stress than building a tech company, which I don't know if any of you have ever done it, but
It's hard.
you know, tech is like a game of Jenga. Every time you move one thing, something else moves. And breaks. Like,
and you have to understand it. Like, I have so many friends, I'm not going to name names, who were...
well, we already know you're lying. You don't have so many friends.
I don't. I have Jared and my dogs.
I'm not your
and my
friend.
wife.
I'm not.
Oh, well, I have my dogs then.
Yeah.
But, you know, like...
They have no choice.
They have no choice, right? I feed them and I keep them alive.
That's right.
Yes, and I'm married to my wife, and there we go. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
I threw you off there.
You did.
I love it.
I was gonna have a really good point.
You
too.
said when you have your hat on for StackRap, you're on whatever, and then I said people don't understand with a tech company that like when you do one thing, it breaks another thing.
I know what I was gonna say. So I have a lot of people that I know who are always chasing the next thing. Like one day they're a crypto expert, the next. The year before that, they were a cannabis expert, right?
Yeah.
Like they are just sort of chasing the hot thing, and they're hoping the hot thing sort of pops, and they're in the right position.
Right now, they're an AI expert.
Right now, they're an AI expert.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like if you want to be a successful agent, a team leader, a broker owner, a tech person, a chef, whatever, you have to have your heart into it, and your intention of doing something cannot be the money, right? I want to become a real estate agent because I enjoy really helping people.
Yeah.
I want to build a software product that really helps people that are running organizations simplify their operations. I know this is a good thing, and I know this is something that people struggle with.
Yeah.
Money is a byproduct of the success and the intention that you have. So like that's really my biggest takeaway is you just got to follow your passions. You know, you got to follow your passions, and you got to kind of know what your driving motivation is.
Yeah, you got to solve. For you in particular, you solved a problem, and you continue to solve a problem, and it's what I love about you too. You're still doing it. You're still in it.
Yeah.
And as I said, you remain hungry for like what's the next problem we're gonna solve? What's the next thing we can do that's cool? And your excitement for it. Your level of excitement for the next thing that's happening, you know, whatever it is, it's how I know that you're the founder of it, because it's like, you know, check this out. Like, can you believe this? This does this, you know? That's why I asked you the question about the difference between now and back then, because, you know, it's like you know what it was back then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I look at stuff from the past, and it's just funny. Like you look at it, and I look at it realizing how many limitations that person had. I'm like, God, you didn't know half of it. You were making what? Like, you know, but it gets you excited about everything you've learned and everything you're going, everything, you know, like it's very similar. So, any closing thoughts, or are you,
No, I think this was a good conversation, you know, but closing thoughts, I would say, if you are running a team, or a brokerage, you can definitely go to stackrap.com. You can sign up for an account on the spot. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Just max at craftbauer.com. That's my brokerage email, but max at stackrap.com.
It's Stackrap, STACKWRAP.
That's right, baby.
Stackrap.
We'll wrap your stack.
Okay, well, here you
We
go.
will do that.
That's a different company.
Your tech stack.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, thanks for having me on the pod, Jared. This is always such a fun time.
Yeah, man. Good. Well, thank you, man. Seriously. If anybody's interested, it's worth looking at. You know, it legitimately is. We really have got to get to the place as an industry where we don't just offer tools, that those tools are actually being used and we're putting people in the best position to use them. Right. You know, we can blame all day agents are this and agents are distracted and agents. And by the way, all of it's true.
Yeah.
But our job is to keep trying, and our job is to make it even easier for them, you know, to do things that are going to be good for them, you know, that actually helps them, that actually gives them an advantage with the consumer. And in a world where everybody's trying to displace you and everybody's trying to come for your share, at some point you have to have a reason why people are working with you, you know, and you got to put yourself out of business, which means doing the next thing that would have put you out of business.
Right.
And adoption of the tools. We don't need 50,000 more tools. We've got a tool for everything in our industry, but we need to learn to use the ones that we already have.
Right.
And one way to do that is to put them all together in one spot, make it easy, and see, you know, see which ones are getting used, which not, where do they need to be moved to, you know, and you guys do that. So I love that. So with that being said, great conversation, man. Seriously, that was fun. Love hearing the whole story too. There's so much more to it too. Max is a super likable guy. If you guys don't recognize that, just from watching here, I'm having a little bit of fun with him and messing around with him, but I meant it. I'm not his friend. Just want to be clear. Okay, I don't want that getting out there. Okay, I can't.
Yeah.
Come on.
Cannot
Come
stress
on.
that enough.
I worked really hard to build a reputation, and
Yes.
I'm not about to have you smear it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not friends with people from LA.
I hung out with Rob Gronkowski.
I'm back to my LA. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much. Make sure if you enjoyed this, guys, leave a comment. Say hi to Max. These are always fun and also difficult to do. So say hi if you have a question, anything like that. If you enjoyed this, let us know. Share this with a colleague, guys. But always a blast. I got this today, and then in a couple days, my wife will be coming into town as well, and actually she'll be coming in town tomorrow, but we'll be shooting another one in a couple days to talk a little bit about the stuff that's going on in the industry right now. There's plenty of stuff going on. So if you're looking for that one, that'll be happening in a couple days. We'll release that one. We're back to shooting podcasts. We took a little break over the holiday season there. And I know, too, because my wife sent me a thing the other day of something she wants to talk about on the pod. It's really good, actually. Like, I think it's going to help a lot of people. I'll show it to you later. I just use that as a teaser. Ooh. But she pulled this thing up. She sent it over to me. And when it comes to my wife and I, like, you almost have to, like, take what she says with a grain of salt because she compliments so much that it's just like, okay, you have to, like, take it with a grain of salt. And I appreciate it, by the way. I think that's awesome. I think in a relationship, if you could try to outserve the other person, if you can try to out-compliment the other, I love that, you know, like, and we try to do that, but you have to take it with a grain of salt, because, like, you know, like, she sends me things, she was like, oh my God, this reminded me of you, you always say this, or like, you were just talking about this, or, you know, whatever, and it's like some, like, brilliant thing, and you're just like, okay, all right, I don't know if I was saying exactly that, but, like, I appreciate that made me think, that made you think of me, right? But she sent one to me the other day, and it was this paragraph, and it was really good, and it had to do with business and whatever else. And she's like, we should talk about this. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. So we're going to do that Friday along with some of the other things that have been going on in the industry. There's just a few things right now. But with that being said, Max, I think we can release to just go have a good time now. We've worked all day. We've worked our bodies. We've worked our minds.
We have.
We've worked our souls.
Souls, yeah, we have. I'm tired.
Now Max
but
is going to work his liver. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. I just want to make sure everybody knows it's just a joke. We actually, if you were to listen to us, you would think that, like, we're like some, like, you know,
yes.
I was going to say closeted drinkers, but we're actually not. Like,
no,
we're literally not.
Yeah, no, only around.
We drink about as much
Jared.
as Tom.
I don't drink.
John doesn't
if
drink.
Anybody,
There you go.
For anybody that doesn't get that, yeah.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't get that, yeah, exactly. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, Max.